right, Mario. Let's talk about the Carolina Hurricanes and Nashville Predators series. This is a very, very interesting series. Nashville Predators won on Friday and Sunday in double overtime, both times, Mario. This is a very, very interesting situation here going on here, Mario. Let's talk about the Friday night game that happened in Nashville, which, by the way, Mario, they took 2 in Nashville. So they're on to something now, Mario. They did exactly what we told them to do when they were down 2-0 in Carolina. So, but let's get to it. Friday night they won 5-4, Mario. In double overtime. Let me get to the stats. I'll start off with the Predators first. Ryan Ellis had himself a goal and an assist and 3 shots on goals. Philip Forsberg, he had himself a goal and an assist and 6 shots on goals. Matt Duchene also had himself a goal and a shot on goal. And Mikkel Granlund, he had himself a goal and 4 shots on goals. And Ryan Johansson had himself a goal and 5 shots on goals. So Nashville Predators offensively were doing a good job. This was an offensive game after all. Tanner Jadot had himself an assist. Same thing with Eric Halua and hang on a second. Here we go. Roman Josi had himself 2 assists and 7 shots on goal. So shout out to him. And Juicy Saros had himself 52 saves out of 56 shots, which is a save percentage of 92% or .928. So bit on the sloppy end, but I'll get defensively, but I'll get to that in just a minute, okay? Now let's go to the Hurricanes. Sebastian Aho, he had himself a goal, 2 assists, and 7 shots on goals. Warren Forgiel had himself an assist and 1 shot on goal. Brett Pesce, he had himself a goal and 2 shots on goals. Jordan Stahl had himself a goal and 4 shots on goals. And Vincent Trocheck had himself a goal and 1 shot on goal. And there were plenty of assists to go around, Mario. And Alex Nedeljkovic, he had himself 49 saves out of 54 shots that were made by the Predators. And the save percentage for him was 90 or .907. So let me get to the box stats, okay, Mario? Because this, statistically wise, this was very, very interesting, okay? Shots on goal, I just mentioned that the Hurricanes had 56 and the Predators had 54. Face-off percentage, both were split even, Mario, 50% each for both sides. So that's very interesting. You don't really see that a lot. Power play, the Carolina Hurricanes made 1 out of 3, and the Predators had 1 out of 7. That's interesting. Penalty minutes of the Hurricanes had 14, and the Predators had 6 hits. Predators had 33. Carolina Hurricanes at 32. So they're pretty much on par with that. Blocks, the Predators had 20 and the Hurricanes had 21. Giveaways, the Hurricanes had 9 and the Predators had 26 giveaways. That is some crazy stuff, Mario. As for takeaways, the Predators had 15 and the Hurricanes had 4. So let me tell you something, okay, Mario? How do I put this? The Predators are exploiting the weaknesses of the Hurricanes while still exploiting their own. Okay, here's what I mean, all right? So, weakness-wise, they're exploiting their weaknesses on defense. Obviously, both ends are, this was more of an offensive game, so there really wasn't a lot of defense to go around. But I really look at it, Mario. They're exploiting their weaknesses while also exploiting their own. So, for example, defense, like I said, they've been doing a good job of kind of breaking through that defense, especially in the second overtime. So kudos to them. But at the end of the day, when it comes to overtime, it really comes down to that one moment. Penalty minutes, they didn't have that many, which is one of the factors that probably one of the factors that didn't make the Carolina Hurricanes blow out the Predators like they did in the first couple of games. So yeah, there's a couple of weaknesses there, and they very rarely got the Hurricanes to give to have the takeaway with the puck. They beat them in that by over 11. So good job for them. But the weaknesses, Mario, are still there for the Predators. Defense is one of them. All right, because this game went to double overtime. Both teams were tied at 4. Both teams shot over 50 times, nearly 60 times. Power plays is another thing. 1 out of 7. You tell me you can't make more than 1. You had 7 times to make a power play and you only made 1. I mean, I'll give them credit. They made 1, but come on. You had that many power plays and you couldn't make more than 1. Come on. That needs to be worked on. Giveaways is my biggest weakness here, Mario. 26 give. You cannot be giving that puck away that many times. You can't. I get this game went to second overtime, but come on. 26 times. The Hurricanes only had 9 giveaways. You had 26. That's almost 20 more than the Hurricanes. That's my biggest weakness right there for the Nashville Predators. 26 giveaways. That is truly some insane stuff, Mario. Everything else, though, Mario, they were pretty much even with the hits and blocks and face-off. So I'll say this, okay? And I'll get to the second game in just a second. I look at game 3, Mario. Obviously, they won this one, but they cannot lack on power plays, defense, and giveaways. That's my 3 biggest issues with the Nashville Predators right now. You cannot be lacking in those positions. You know what I mean? But other than that, Mario, they're looking pretty good. They didn't have that many. They didn't have that many penalty minutes, so that's good right there. They had some decent hits, so that's good as well. Blocks, they were doing a decent job. Takeaways, they were doing pretty good with that as well. And shots, again, they were very aggressive. At the end of the day, their goalie saved them, so you better thank him. And that's really all I can say. As for the Hurricanes, same situation, Mario. They were aggressive. They weren't giving the puck away that much, so that's good. Takeaways, they didn't have that many of them, so they do need to work on that. As for power plays, they made 1 out of 3, so not bad, but it could be a little bit better. Face off, again, they were just as even. So if I'm the Carolina Hurricanes, Mario, I think my biggest problem here with the Hurricanes is defense, most definitely. Because everything here, it doesn't look that bad. You know what I mean? But the defense just cost them this game. The Predators shot 54 times. You know what I mean? And one of those ended up being the game winner. Same thing with the Hurricanes. They shot 56 times. We talk about how, if you're going to shoot that many times, at least, if you're going to let the team shoot that many times, at least do just as good or better. So they got that part. But the problem with it is, Mario, is that they didn't, with them being more aggressive with shots did not help them win the game. So if I'm the Carolina Hurricanes, I'm giving your goalie a bit of a break and doing better on defense. So that's just what you got to do. So, but other than that, Mario, nothing else. I mean, again, power plays could be a little bit better. Takeaways could be a little bit better. But other than that, Mario, it didn't look as bad as you could expect from the Carolina Hurricanes. But you thought it couldn't get worse, could you, Mario? Oh, yeah, let's talk about it, okay? Let's talk about game 4. Okay?
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about game 4. This one also went to double overtime. Predators won this one 4-3. All right, let's get to this one. This one had me going nuts. All right, I was actually watching this game. This was actually a pretty good game. At least on the TV, that was statistically wise, it was a disaster. But we'll get to that in just a minute. All right. Luke Kunin for the Predators. He had 2 goals and 6 shot on goals. Nick Cousins had himself a goal and 4 shots on goals. And Ryan Johansson also had himself a goal and 2 shots on goals. Mateus Ekblom, he had himself 2 assists and 2 shots on goals. Michael Gronlund, he also had 2 assists, so shout out to him. Matt Duchene had himself an assist. Same thing with Ryan Ellis and Eric Halua. And Wazi Saros, Mario, had 58 saves out of 61 shots. Yeah, you heard that correctly. 61 shots. I'll get to them in just a second, okay? And that was a save percentage at 95% or .951. So, again, you got to thank your goalie for that, Predators, because that's just ridiculous. Now, let me get to the Hurricanes, okay, Mario? Because this one, oh, boy, we got to talk about this. Brooke McGinn, he had himself 2 goals and 4 shots on goals. Vincent Trocheck, he had himself a goal and 5 shots on goals. Steven Orlentz, he had himself an assist. Same thing with Jordan Stahl. He also had an assist. And their goalie, Alex Nedeljkovic, he had himself 39 saves out of 43 shots, which is a save percentage of 90% or .907. Let's talk, Mario, okay? Let's go to the box score. Shots on goals, the Hurricanes had 61 shots on goal compared to the Predators 43. That's absolutely insane. Face-off percentage, the Hurricanes had them be on that with 54.9, pretty much 55%, and the Predators had 45.1. Power plays, they had 4 of them and did not make a single one. The Predators made 1 out of 2, so they did address that situation in the last game, so they did a good job with that. But there is one thing that they didn't do good with in in this game that they did good with last game, and that's penalty minutes. The Predators had 10 of them, and the Hurricanes had 6. So not too bad, but you still can't have that many penalties in one game. Hits wise, Predators had 32, Hurricanes had 33. Blocks, the Predators did a good job with this, Mario. They had 31 blocks, and the Hurricanes had 15. So they did a really good job. Giveaways, both teams at 16. I'll get to that in a minute, okay? And takeaways, again, the Predators did a good job with that. They had 13 takeaways, and the Hurricanes had 8. So when it comes to takeaways, the Hurricanes did a better job. But here's the thing, Mario, okay? I'll give the Nashville Predators credit for this. They were doing a lot better job this game. Defensively, could it have been better? Absolutely. They absolutely. The Hurricanes shot on them 61 times. If I'm going to be honest with you, Mario, I look at that. The Nashville Predators defense did a little worse this game than last game. Because you let them, they shot on you 56 times the game before. They did that 5 more times. They shot on you 61 times. So you got your goalie to thank for that. As for everything else, Mario, they only shot 43 times, which was enough for them to win the game. So the Hurricanes defense really wasn't all that bad. But again, you gave up that overtime shot. And that's my problem with the Hurricanes. Here's my problem with the Hurricanes, okay, Mario? Remember how I said the Nashville Predators are exploiting their weaknesses while still exploiting their own? At this point, I feel like the Hurricanes are exploiting themselves. You didn't make a single power play. You're shooting 61 times. Your defense is up there. I'll give them that. But you're giving the puck away 16 times. Same thing with the Predators. That's one thing I forgot to mention about the Predators. That's still a glaring weakness for them, is giveaways. They can't be doing that. Giveaways, you gave it away 16 times. You can't be doing that. You didn't make a single power play goal. You shot the puck 61 times. If I'm going to be honest with you, Mario, I think if the Hurricanes continue to play like this, they're going to lose the series. They're going to lose the series. That's just what's going to end up happening. I feel like the Hurricanes are trying too hard. I know that sounds a little silly, but for you to shoot 61 times and still lose the game, I feel like you're trying too hard. You really are.
Forcing it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And if I'm the Carolina Hurricanes, I'm toning it down a bit. Because for one thing, there's no way in hell you shot 61 times and did not win that game. You need to tone it down just a little bit. As for power plays, again, you got to make those. You had 4 of them. You didn't make a single one. You got to make those. Penalty minutes, that's not an issue. That's not an issue, so that's a thumbs up for them. Same thing with hits. They were pretty aggressive on both sides. Blocks-wise, the defense needs to be a little bit better, Mario, because, again, you gave up that winning shot in overtime. Giveaways, it's pretty much my biggest issue, Mario, is the offense. I think they're trying a little too hard. I really do believe that. I think they need to tone it down a bit. They're going back to Carolina, so the series is tied 2-2. They need to figure something out, Mario, because they just lost 2 games in overtime, and yeah, that's really the best I can say. Overall, this is turning into be a very, very interesting series. I really do believe that, and I don't know, Mario. I don't know who this series is turning the tide to. We're gonna have to find out in Game 5. So with that being said, best of luck to both teams. And yeah, this is just getting more and more interesting as it goes on.
You took a long time on that mic, Nate.
Yeah, it's confusing, dude.
Nah, you're good. But look, you basically said everything, so I'm really not going to say it. Just a couple of things. First of all, Jordan Staal in Game 4. Jordan Staal in Game 4, he was involved, but he wasn't as involved as we expected him to be. In Game 3, Jordan Staal did what Jordan Staal does, He did a good job. One guy that really has stepped up in the last 2 games, again, is Soros, the goalie. Like you said, he has really stepped up because last two games, he's been playing really well compared to the 2 games before they just didn't. First of all, for him to say 58 out of 61 shots, credit to him, man. And he did a good job in the other game as well. So when you're going to look at it, Soros is really stepping up in these last 2 games like he needed to, Defensively, yeah, the Hurricanes they're not playing that great. And I'm going to be honest, in Game 3, for the first 3 games, the Nashville Predators were not playing that great either. And I'm going to be real. I'm going to even be more real. I think the Nashville Predators could be a little bit better on defense too as well. Again, 40 I still think is a lot. And if it wasn't for those 61, it wouldn't look like a lot, but it is. I'll say this though. Game 4, they did a better job with power play. They scored 1 out of 2. And again, the Hurricanes, they're just not doing good on power plays these past 2 games neither. It's as simple as that. You got to capitalize on your power plays. It's just as simple as that, Nate. Um, but if I'm the Hurricanes, I'm going into practice and I'm thinking to myself, I'm looking at film and I'm saying to myself, what in these last 2 games has changed that is making us not win? We're shooting the puck. We're shooting the puck 61 times. We're being aggressive, like you said, maybe way too aggressive. We're like literally head to head with this team, and we're losing in double overtime games. What can we do to make sure that not only do we win, but this doesn't go into double overtime? And that's the questions that the Hurricanes got to ask themselves. As the Nashville Predators, you're doing okay. You won the last 2 games, but you're still a very flawed team. Okay, suppose that you're still a very flawed team. Okay, giveaways way too much. All right, takeaways you were better with game 4, but in game 3 you didn't do a great job with it. So what do we need to do better? That's the case. And the other thing is also faceoffs. Hurricanes are doing a better job with faceoffs, in my opinion. So what do we need to do as a team to get even better than what we've been doing? We can't keep winning in double overtime. That's just going to exhaust our players. Not only that, the longer you play, the more at risk that a lot of these players are for more injuries. So what do we need to do to not only win, but not win in double overtime? It's the same. And these are the same questions are going to be asked by both teams. Are the same team? Both teams are asking each other the same questions. Okay, it's just 2 different results, but this is anybody's game now, Nate. And a series in the first 2 where it looked like the Hurricanes were just going to beat the living snot out of them, it's anybody's series now. And look, I got to give a nice little shout out in game 3 to my boy Matt Duchene, former Columbus Blue Jacket. He did wonders for us in the playoffs, but you know what, man? He's on a different team now. And it hurts. I'm not gonna lie, it hurts me as a Columbus Blue Jackets fan because I love Matt Duchene for that one season. But it shows you how good Matt Duchene is. I do wish the Nashville Predators and the Carolina Hurricanes the best of luck heading into Game 5 and for the rest of the series as well. But both teams are turning into both teams are still flawed. One team has been very, very flawed and has improved, but they are still flawed. And the other team showed no flaws in the first 2 games, but now we're starting to show their flaws. So both teams got to figure out how to stop their flaws, and both teams got to do a better job coming into Game 5. So with that being said, best of luck to both teams. I believe Game 5 is going to be in Carolina.
Yes, correct.
Game 5 will be in Carolina. Best of luck to both teams in Carolina, and we'll see what happens.